I was going to be okay. I was going to be okay paying off my bills and expenses and also having a fairly good quality of life. And so I set that goal. That was my initial goal. And I achieved that within 6 weeks of leaving my full-time job, okay? So that's the power of setting a goal. And I knew that goal. I knew that I did not feel confident to leave work, my full-time job, until I'd achieved that level of income. And I did that in 6 weeks while I was working full-time. So just for those of you that are also working full-time and wonder, how am I going to fit this in? How can I get this done? You can do it because I've done it. All right, as long as you've got a powerful why, as long as you're driven, as long as you stay focused, and as long as you've got those goals set, you can do it. I know that for a fact. All right, now the final step in our ultimate success formula is to follow the proven formula for success that I'm about to reveal. So let's have a look at what that is. All right, so here it is. It's really quite simple. There are 4 parts to the ultimate success formula. The first one is to make a decision. Now, by making a decision, that can be as simple as setting your financial goal that you want to achieve, which is an outcome. In other words, making a decision is setting an outcome that you want to achieve. That's the decision you're making. So it can be to quit your full-time job within 6 months. It can be to replace your full-time income, which is X amount of dollars within a certain time period. You know, whatever your goal is, whatever the outcome is that you want to achieve, it could be to buy yourself a new car within the next 3 months, and the car is, $20,000 in value. So it doesn't matter what your goal is as long as you have one. So set an outcome for yourself. How many clients do you want to have? By what time frame? I want to have 10 clients within 6 weeks. I want to have 20 clients within 12 weeks. Set yourself some realistic goals. That's the decision that you're making here. So then the next step is to take action on those decisions. This is the core part. So, and by the way, when you're making those decisions, when you're setting those outcomes that you want to achieve, you need to write them down. And in this case, it only has to be one. Make it simple. Just one outcome that you want to achieve that's really important to you, that's going to make a world of difference for you if you achieve it. The most important outcome that you want to get from this program. Set that outcome. If it's a customer one, 10 customers within 6 weeks, then that's your goal. But then the next most important thing to do is you must take action on it. No point writing down a goal, setting it down, thinking about it and getting all fired up about it and then doing nothing about it, all right? Staring at the phone or sitting down and watching TV or getting distracted or finding other things to do, buying the next shiny, the shiny WSO that's promising to, that you can make $1 million in 3 weeks. Just push all that nonsense aside and stay focused on your purpose. All right, so take action. And we're going to go through every single module that we go through here is going to be action focused. So don't worry about what actions to take. I am going to be giving you those actions you need to take. And as long as you take those actions, you will get the results. All right, the next thing is you get a result. So when we take actions, oftentimes we don't hit our targets. Oftentimes we don't end up where we thought we would. But look, that's okay. What's important is that you took action. All right, that's the main thing. Did I make mistakes while I was building this business? You bet. How many mistakes? Hey, I'm a master at making mistakes. I messed up heaps. I went down so many wrong paths. I made so many bad decisions, but it doesn't matter because I still ended up where I wanted to be. And the key is we learn from the mistakes we make. We learn from the hurdles that appear in front of us. We learn from the obstacles we overcome, and we learn from the challenges that we break through. And the challenges that we overcome as well. So, what we are looking to do when we take action is just get a result. It doesn't matter if we send out 20 emails and we get no response back. That was then. What about the next 20 emails? What about the next 20 people we talk to? What about the next 20 businesses we approach? The point is to not give up. So what we're looking at here when we get a result is let's review those actions and see if we can do anything differently next time to get a different result. That's only if we're not happy with the result, by the way. If you're happy with the result, then you know what? Then all you've got to do is set the next goal, set the next target, and then take action and move towards it. But in this case, let's say we don't hit our target, we don't get the result we're after, we review that result and then we make some changes. we make some new decisions, and then we take some new actions. And that's how the success formula works. It's very cyclic then. Then we're constantly taking action, reviewing our results, and then making better decisions based on what we achieved. All right? So I hope that makes sense to you. But seriously, that is the formula for success. And this is not my formula, by the way. This is a formula that every single person that's succeeded in anything in life has used. It's a universal formula for success that if you just watch and observe successful people in action, this is what they're doing. And the last thing I want to say about this too is, you know, a lot of people put off making decisions. They procrastinate. They don't make decisions quickly, or they find a reason not to make a decision because they're afraid of an outcome. What I would say to you about that is make a decision and get used to making decisions fast and frequently, because that's a very powerful tool that you will then have in your skill set that is going to, I guarantee you, is going to give you super results. All right, the more decisions you make, and the better you'll get at it, and the more outcomes that you will achieve. All right, let's move on. Now, the secret is to be making decisions all the time. There you go, reinforcing just what I was saying to you. The most successful people in life are people that make decisions quickly, easily, and frequently. All right, so I'm going to be helping you with that process along this way. And if you think about it this way, if you do nothing with this course, if you do nothing from this material that's being shared with you, then you've already made a decision. The decision is to do nothing. So be mindful that you're always making decisions, even if it's a decision to do nothing or a decision to avoid taking action. You're still making decisions. The key is to make better decisions and make decisions that are going to move you forward in your business. All right, so here's your action steps. This is just to reinforce what we've already been over, but in case you haven't taken those steps and stopped the video and done the things as we were moving through this particular module, if you haven't done that, then now's the time to go back and right now write down your why, and take no more than 15 minutes to do this. Write down your why. Step 2, write down your income goal and the deadline you want to achieve it by. And look, use the monthly amount that you need, because that's what's important. How much money do you need each month to replace your full-time income or to pay your bills and expenses and still live a good quality of life? Number 3, write down 2 decisions you've been putting off. This is how you can start to practice this decision-making process that I'm talking to you about. If you write down 2 decisions right now that you've been putting off that are going to make your life better in some way, shape or form, then write them down now. And then the next step after that is do one single thing immediately that reinforces these decisions. In other words, take immediate action. Whether that's writing them down, that's action on those decisions, write those decisions down, or making a phone call, or doing something that's going to reinforce that you're willing to achieve and do whatever it takes to get those results or those outcomes. All right, look, that's the end of this particular module, and I look forward to working with you now and going through the 7 fast client-getting strategies that are proven, tried, and tested in Module 2.